Welcome to our Assembly Storytime. Today's story is called The Easter Story. You can read along with me if you like, or just sit back and enjoy the story. If you want to read along, stop the video, open the file called Storytime 7, The Easter Story Script, and then when you're ready, come back and press play to read along as you listen. If you're ready, let's begin. The city of Jerusalem was packed with people. Everyone was arriving for the Passover festival, which lasted a whole week. The city was also buzzing with the latest news about Jesus. As soon as news arrived that Jesus was on his way, an excited crowd set off to meet him. Some went ahead of Jesus, who sat on a donkey, and his disciples as they came in. They threw down their cloaks and branches from palm trees to make a royal road for Jesus. "Hosanna!" they shouted. "Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Hosanna in the highest." It was quite a sight. Not everyone was so happy to see Jesus, though. The religious leaders were growing more and more determined to silence Jesus once and for all. They called a meeting of their council and planned out how they would arrest Jesus. Caiaphas, the high priest and chairman of the council, said, "We must arrest Jesus, but he is so popular. We will have to do it secretly, or the people will riot." They plotted and planned how they could get Jesus arrested and killed. You see, Jesus was teaching that many leaders and kings of the nation had refused to listen to God and were doing things wrong. They didn't like that at all. They were determined to take Jesus and carried on plotting until they had their chance. Jesus continued teaching in the temple each day, and when the day for Passover supper arrived, Jesus sent his disciples to prepare a meeting room for them to share their meal together. Everyone was hot and dusty after trudging through the busy streets. As the 12 talked amongst themselves, Jesus looked at them with great affection. He knew them through and through, with all their faults, and loved them dearly just the same. He even loved Judas, who had offered money by the high priest to betray Jesus and help them with their plan. When everyone was sitting down, Jesus took up the water jug and a basin, wrapped a towel round himself, and began to wash the disciples' feet. They were very shocked. This was a job for the least important servant of the household, not for their Lord. But Jesus said, "You call me Master and Lord, and you are right, that is what I am. Yet I'm washing your feet because I love you. I want you to follow my example. Care for each other and love one another as I love and care for you. Don't always think of yourselves and your own importance." Then the disciples let Jesus wash their feet, and they felt very loved and cared for. Afterwards, they sat down to eat. Jesus took a loaf of bread and shared it among the disciples. "All of you, eat this with me," Jesus told them. "This is my body which is given for you." Thoughtfully and a little mystified, the disciples ate together. Then Jesus took a cup of wine and handed it to them. "Drink this," he said. "This is my blood which is given for many, the seal of the new covenant. Do these things to remember me." The disciples drank as Jesus told them. Jesus spoke to the disciples about many things that evening, and afterwards they went out to the Garden of Gethsemane. Jesus left Peter, James, and John sitting while he went further off to pray. He was in distress because he knew that his enemies were coming. Suddenly, a group of people with soldiers arrived. Judas walked straight towards Jesus. "Hello, Master," he called out and hugged him. The armed guards rushed up and seized Jesus as if he was a dangerous criminal. It was awful. They took him away to the council for trial. The disciples ran for their lives, and Peter followed at a distance. Jesus was led by his captors to the house of Caiaphas, where the council were waiting. Peter arrived and waited in the courtyard, where some servants there asked if he was friends with Jesus. 3 times Peter was asked if he was Jesus' friend, and 3 times Peter said no, just as Jesus said he would. Peter was terribly sad and terribly afraid. How could this be happening? You can listen to the story again as often as you like. When you're ready, go and see the next video called Storytime 7 Companion for some things to think about and some things to do. Bye-bye for now.